And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Lakers insider for Lakers Daily, joined by Aaron Larsoul. Lakers, what should we call your position with the Lakers?
Lakers
Should
person.
it be secret
Lakers
keeper? Should it be
Lakers secret keeper? That'll work. Yep.
crypt protector?
No, because that makes me sound even older than I actually am. No, let's not do that.
Body barrier? All those good things?
You know, I just stay to myself. I keep my head down. Oops, I'm banging phones into my desk. I just keep my head down and answer questions when I'm called upon. You know, it's like being in I don't know, whatever grade you were, whatever class. You know, when my name is called, I answer questions. That is what I do. That is my role. I'm hearing an echo too now. Oh, you know what it was? You know what that was? It was the Twitter notification that you sent out that the show was live pulled up on my phone, and so that's what that was. So yes, come hang out with us on Twitter or YouTube, all of the places.
Yeah, that is a one way to have a call to action. Follow us on Twitter. I am at Anthony Irwin LA. Aaron is at Aaron Larsoul. You can find the show on YouTube at youtube.com/@Lakers Lounge. Everybody get your pods. If you're listening to this in podcast form the morning after, subscribe, rate, review, all of those good things as well. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody. Doesn't matter.
You're just your enemies. You just want all the Nuggets fans. That's what you want. You want all the Nuggets fans, your enemies.
I'm like really pissed off that we have to wait like this long to get to the ass whooping that game 3 is going to be.
You think so you've just decided it's a wrap for the Nuggets?
Oh, for sure.
I
think they're a low culture team. Like I think they're a low character team. Like
low culture and low character. Okay.
Yeah, well, because like I said this when they lost game 4 to the Lakers, and I didn't think they played very hard in that game. And I was like, look, man, once you welcome that thought into your brain that you can lose playoff games, and you aren't that great of a team, like the three-peat Lakers were what I call a switch team, right? They could flip that switch. They could beat the shit out of anybody. You would get to the playoffs and they would beat the crap out of anybody.
Okay.
And eventually though, like teams spend precious few years as switch teams, right? Like you're talking about the absolute cream of the crop at their absolute pinnacle.
That's what I was going to say. I don't even know if it's precious, if teams spend precious few years, to use your terminology. Yeah. I think it's precious few teams that can do that in just at all.
Yeah, well,
it does not appear like this iteration of the Nuggets is one of them.
No, I think I think they thought a little too highly of themselves and are now reaping those rewards now. And I'm annoyed that we've had to wait like 4 days between ass kickings, and I want to get to it. I want to be there. I want to be that meme of the dude showed up in my biggest enemy's funeral. Like,
just with his arms folded in his suit. Yeah,
that is very much me.
All your haters.
That entire organization. Lakers daddy Mike Malone might get fired after he gets swept. Stop those good things.
Stop it. It's Michael Malone, and that's not happening.
Mike Malone.
Nobody. Stop.
El Melon.
Stop it. Nobody fires a team that close after winning a title.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're going to talk about Frank Vogel today. He, like minutes before you and I went live, this was not meant to be an emergency episode or anything like that. Both of our schedules are kind of in flux, and you texted me, "Hey, I have 40 minutes. Can you go now?" I was like, "Yeah, I can try." I'm like literally recovering right now from dethatching and mowing my lawn. This is way too much work. That's why I have so much color. Like you guys, I don't know if you guys can see. Like
I don't know if you guys want to see.
Yeah, it's like a tan. I have like a full on because I was
wearing. For those of you listening to the
there.
Pod, either later today or tomorrow,
it just showed a little skin.
Yeah, Anthony has his shirt off, which is
not
as bad as I anticipated, but
glorious.
That is not how I would describe it.
Feels glorious. It's freeing.
Well, that I can understand.
But yeah, the Suns scapegoated Frank Vogel. He is now out after 1 year trying to get Bradley Beal to be a winning player. That is now like 13 coaches who have tried and failed in that venture. The Lakers are just
you're not a Randy Whitman guy. Is that what I'm?
I'm
what I'm
not
learning?
I'm not a Bradley Beal guy. I
Okay.
just, we talk about low culture, low character guys. Like, I don't think he's, off the
Wait, low
court like a bad dude.
character.
Yeah, I just don't think he's a winning player. I don't think
Okay, that's
he
different than
cares
low
about the
character.
things that you need to do to win at that level.
Okay.
So the Suns, you can't fire the owner, can't fire
No.
the GM.
No, yes, you can.
Well, you're gonna fire the head coach before you fire the GM.
Often, but not always. Yeah.
So they decide to fire Frank Vogel after 1 year. The reason that this matters to the Lakers, it's not that I think that the Lakers would bring back Frank Vogel, although that would be funny. You call him with the old
Boy.
whoopsie daisy.
Boy. Good boy.
Associate head coach Frank Vogel to head coach and head podcast host JJ Redick is a fun rhetorical or hypothetical here. But the reason it matters, though, for the Lakers is because now they have more competition on the market for a head coach.
Yep.
It's two similar cores, right? Super, star-laden cores, high expectation jobs, high leverage jobs. The name that was immediately thrown out there was by Adrian Wojnarowski.
Chris Haynes, yeah.
Chris Haynes and Woj, I think.
Yeah,
both
everybody.
said,
yeah, they all. Yeah.
that Mike Budenholzer is going to be a serious candidate for the gig. He is already considered a serious candidate for the Lakers gig. So now the Lakers have competition potentially for Bud. We also earlier today, this was rare. Now I know that Charlotte has new ownership in, and maybe they're going to do business differently than everybody else. But it's really rare that a head coach gets announced by the team before any of the newsbreakers get that news. None of them got it.
Yeah, it doesn't happen
That was
often.
fascinating. That was so interesting to me. Total nerd about this stuff, but that was really interesting to me. But again, that matters to the Lakers because Charles Lee was one of the potential and alleged candidates that the Lakers would consider. He goes to Charlotte. He was was he the lead assistant for Boston?
Yes.
I think he was. Yeah,
Correct.
He's the lead assistant for Boston. Now he is in Charlotte. So now the Lakers have fewer candidates to pull from and competition on the market. Aaron, do you think this speeds up their process?
No. Because let me be careful.
I can offer up you can sip Hennessy if you would like, unnamed cognac, and I can give the answer as I know it.
No, I don't want to do that because here's why. Because if you say something, I don't want to have to correct you because then that might be outing myself too specifically. So I will say my piece and then you can say what you've heard and I will not respond.
All right.
And I will hopefully fix my face to not give any sort of clues as to what. No, I don't think. Okay, how about this? I'm gonna get aggregated here. I don't. It is my understanding that JJ was offered the Charlotte job and had a contract sitting there.
And he turned it down. Why?
Or maybe
why would that happen, Aaron?
This is what I don't want. This is what I don't.
Where's
no? You're putting the
where's
windy fingers up. I don't. This is what we don't want.
Why would they do that?
No. So it could mean, and by the way, this is just what I've heard. I don't know this to be true, but this is what I've heard from fairly reliable sources. Is that JJ had this offer on the table from Charlotte for quite a while. I don't know that to be true. I heavily suspect that it's true, but I don't know it to be true. And so either he said no, or their current head coach who accepted the job maybe this morning, or maybe last night, who, to your point, it was not revealed. The story was not broken by any of the newsbreakers. Either, if what I have heard is correct, either JJ said no and then they moved on, or they both had actionable offers and one of them took advantage of that. I don't know which of those it is. So do I think that this speeds up no, I don't think it speeds up the Lakers timeline. And one of the reasons for that is, much like Charlotte's new head coach, it is at least rumored that the Lakers have some interest in at minimum interviewing assistant coaches that are still involved in the playoffs. I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying that. I think that has been like reported all over the place. So if that is the case, then the timing for interviewing and then hiring those guys is, put on hold a little bit. And my supposition is that Phoenix would have interest in a similar candidate pool. Maybe not exactly the same, but a similar candidate pool to the Lakers. Bud is a rumored name for the Lakers and now has been a rumored name for the Suns. I would imagine there would be some overlap in their interest in some of the lead assistants with different teams that are currently still involved in the playoffs. So some of this process is dependent on what happens with the availability of those guys. People do interview during the playoffs if their team is still in the playoffs. As an assistant, guys will interview other places. That is a thing that happens. Obviously, we see that to be the case with Charlotte here. So, but that generally happens when you have a break in between series. So that doesn't often happen. Hey, we want to get you in between games 3 and 4. That generally doesn't happen. It's usually in a break. When you have, and by the way, the Celtics, maybe not coincidentally, it felt like they didn't play for like 6 weeks in between the end of the first round and game 1. And they'll of course play again tonight. So no, I don't really think I don't think it speeds up the Lakers timeline much like I don't think the Suns timeline is going to be impacted much by the Lakers. Although I do suspect that there will be some overlap, at least in interviews, between candidates for the two teams.
Yeah, the only way that it would is if the Lakers would be so desperate to hire Mike Budenholzer that they would go out and get him before Phoenix would be able to do that. And the thing with Bud, right?
Yeah, Bud's but why? But name. Yeah, but why? But here, okay, so yes, but
Bud's weird because okay.
You
just fired Darvin Ham, who is fruit that dropped from the Mike Budenholzer tree. And if you don't like the way that fruit tastes, you don't go out there and buy that tree.
Yeah, I think that's an oversimplification. Because
also, I can't get over it being Budenholzer and then calling him Bud. Should we call him Bud?
No, because the first 3 letters are Bud. No. No. No, but of the candidates rumored to be investigated, interviewed, sought after, looked at by the Lakers, it's not the only one. Darvin is not the only one that has come from the tree. So I think that I do understand fans' hesitancy, right? If you think of it as that Darvin Ham was fruit of the Budenholzer poisoned coaching tree, but they're different. They're different guys with different strengths.
Well, here's how I would answer that in my way.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like everybody figured out that Kurt Rambis wasn't head coaching. Like he wasn't a good head coach. That wouldn't stop them from hiring Phil Jackson.
My camera is going out. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. Yeah, just because people have learned under right. And so okay. So But so if you want to take it like a generation back further, where did Bud come from? It came from the Greg Popovich tree. So does that mean Darvin is from the Greg Popovich tree? And does that mean you wouldn't hire Greg Popovich?
Well, I don't normally skip generations like
Oh
that.
no, it's just okay. So it's only the first generation. It's not the second generation. We don't go to grandfather. It's just father son.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think it's a bit of an oversimplification to like not consider Mike Budenholzer. But again, so like if you are considering Bud a serious candidate and you're concerned that the Phoenix Suns would go out and hiring him, then would that kind of inherently speed up your interest in bringing in Mike Budenholzer and making a decision, right? Because we saw it already happen where the Lakers were trying to figure out something after, they were trying to figure out their head coaching job before, and then the Suns swooped in and hired Monty Williams when he was the Lakers' second preferred candidate at the time. They preferred Lue and then Monty and then probably even Kidd and then Vogel.
That's an oversimplification, but sure.
Well, however the order might be, right? Monty was a member of those.
Monty was in consideration, yes.
Yeah.
For the Lakers,
and so like, do the Lakers risk that happening again? Is Bud such a good head coach, such a good candidate that they would not want to risk that? Same goes, I guess, technically also for Kenny Atkinson, who I'm sure the Suns are also going to consider, who is in consideration here from the Lakers. And also like the thing with the other assistants that you talked about. And by the way, like the plan here, I've been messaging back and forth with John Krasinski, not the one from The Office, but the one from The Athletic. He and I are going to talk about Mike Inori and what he does for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So like the plan here is to offer you guys up full context on each of these candidates as I can get it. But even with Nori being a popular candidate, and I understand why he's a popular candidate. Same went for Charles Lee. Same goes for David Adelman in Denver, right? All of these guys would be first-time head coaches, and like you've said, Aaron, teams tend to hire coaches like a pendulum, right? You'll go from the experienced coach to the up and coming coach to see if you can snag the next Sean McVay, and then that doesn't work out, so you go back to experience, and so on and so forth.
Or a disciplinarian versus a player's coach. I mean, the same is true in baseball. Doesn't matter, so we're not talking about baseball. But you brought up Sean McVay. The same is true in football, right? If it's generally if it's an offensive minded head coach and that doesn't work out, you go get a defensive guy, and then that doesn't work out, so you go get an offensive guy, and that doesn't work out, so you get an old retread, and that doesn't work out, so you get a young up and comer. So yeah, I don't. By the way, I don't think this is not a Lakers thing specifically. This is an NBA thing in general. I just don't think NBA teams are particularly good at identifying and hiring head coaches.
Leadership's a weird thing. Like you never know how the personalities are going to mesh, and you never know. Like, remember, I mentioned this on the show last night, talking about Luke Walton. Remember when the Lakers hired him, everybody was over the moon that they were able to go out and get the most popular candidate on the market. He had no actual head coaching experience of his own, but he did, operate as the head coach of the Warriors when Steve Kerr was recovering from back surgery. And so, like, at the time,
botched back surgery, by the way, but yes.
Yeah. Well, just meant that he was there longer. Luke Walton was there longer.
Yeah, I think he was, I believe it was 39-3. He had 40. He coached 42 games for the Warriors that year, and they were 39-3.
Yeah,
which only indicates that me, Anthony, and a reasonably well-trained monkey could have flipped coins for we could have played rock paper scissors.
Who was going to coach the Warriors? Way to talk about Harrison.
Anthony, and Harrison could have alternated games, and the Warriors would have gone 41-4 instead of 42-3.
I can
But
just imagine.
and by the
We
way,
would be
I'm putting
hilarious.
that extra loss on you, not Harrison and not me.
We would be hilarious as like as head coaches.
Me,
on the
Harrison, and
side.
you would have each had one loss,
We would.
and you would have lost the
I'd have
fourth
to.
game. You'd be the one that lost the fourth game for us.
I think I'm the only one among us with coaching experience, so I think that makes me the seasoned veteran.
That is not true. I mean, I've coached a fair amount, not to the level of Coach Pete, but I've coached a fair amount, a little in high school. And
well, Pete wasn't on the staff. We didn't consider Pete.
Yeah, that's right. I
ran a program.
Okay.
Not well.
So I coached some of my coaching experience. I don't know if this translates to coaching the Dynastic Warriors, but I coached my sister's YMCA team in I don't know, I think she was in second grade. And we used to just destroy everybody because my sister shockingly was better than the rest of the other kids. And so all we would do is give her the ball and she would just dribble slowly to the front of the rim and lay it up. We used to beat teams like 28-6 every game. And the only reason I coached this was, I think it was first or second grade girls. The only reason I agreed to do it was because I went to the last game in a full suit, and broke a clipboard and then threw it just to get a T. I decided, if I'm going to coach, then I have to get a T at some point. It's going to be the last game of the season. I'm going to break a clipboard and throw it. And nobody in here cares about this, including me. But I'm getting myself ejected from the last game. That's my coaching. Well, no, that's not my only coaching experience.
So I graduated in 2004 from Esperanza.
That's right about when I was coaching.
And so I graduated in 2004. I think I went back in 2008 or 9 and coached with the guys. I was the, JV coach and varsity assistant. And then the women's head coach got fired, and they asked me if I wanted to run the girls program. And good Lord, I was an all right coach. I was a pretty good basketball coach, but running a program takes so much more.
It's a lot more going on. Yeah.
You had to schedule tournaments,
buses, and gyms,
all of that stuff. All that for $3,000 stipend. It was the dumbest.
You were doing well then. If you got 3,000 20 years ago, you were doing well.
No, maybe I think I got 10,000 for head coach and 2,100 for assistant coach when I was doing that.
Okay.
But yeah, I did all of that. So I took the head coaching job when we had a really, really solid senior class, and I did pretty well with them. But the problem is they all graduated, and the following class was not very good. And I didn't do any recruiting. I didn't know anything about that life. And I thought it was like a public high school. So you just made work whatever you got.
That's what you did.
That's what you're supposed, that's how I thought I was supposed to work. It turns out I was wrong. And we were not very good the next couple of years.
Which is why between Harrison, myself, and you are the one that is costing the Dynastic Warriors one extra loss. You are why we are 41-4 instead of 42-3.
I don't think that's true. But anyway, so we the other aspect of this, and I kind of feel for Frank.
We got a little breaking something.
Knicks are breaking.
What OG Anunoby's out for game 3? That's something. That's not nothing. They play their guys.
I don't know. They'll have 4 guys play 48 minutes and they'll still win.
Yes, and one of the guys that was going to play 47 minutes is OG Anunoby, and he's not playing at all. And Mitchell Robinson is out, and Bogdanovich is out, and Julius Randle is out, and Brunson is playing on one foot. That matters. All right, we're not talking about that. We're talking about back to the Lakers. Sorry.
I don't know. I can't get myself to care about the Eastern Conference. It's just the basketball is so bad. the fact that the Knicks are able to win a series with 4 basketball players is like really nauseating to me. And Rick Carlisle won't play TJ McConnell down the stretch of the game so that Andrew Nemhard can just stand out there and do nothing on either side of the court. Moron. I hate the Knicks. I can't.
So do I. I am vehemently rooting against the Knicks.
But it doesn't matter because the
I don't
Pacers
know.
are too
I think
stupid.
the Pacers are going to beat them.
And no, you think that because you're hoping for it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think that because I'm hoping for it.
Playing basketball in the second half. You just stopped.
Yeah, I think that because I'm hoping for it, and yes, because I have ties, I care about the organization, the Pacers, or people in the Pacers organization. Yes, but also I think it's a fascinating contrast of styles where the Knicks have either been forced to or have chosen to play the Pacers pace the first 2 games of the series, while also playing dudes 98 minutes a game and playing like 2.5 people. I don't know how they can sustain this, and now they can't, right? Brunson got hurt, and OG got hurt, and Mitchell Robinson is out, etc. So eventually the Knicks have to just run out of guys, right?
I can't believe like if I'm Alec Burks, I'm fighting Tibbs. I'm taking him out.
We're gonna stand outside MSG. Actually, no, we're going down to the subway underneath the subway stop underneath MSG, and we're just having a fist fight. Where other people staying with the reverb of the thing.
This looks like he could fight. Tibbs looks like the penguin.
Alec Burks would dog walk Tibbs.
Not according to Tibbs. He doesn't have the fight to play in a playoff
Anthony,
game.
I think you might be able to handle Tibbs. Although there should be some sort of rule, like don't fight people with that gravelly of a voice because they've seen some things.
That's what I'm saying. Like I
things.
think he's seen some shit. Like he's done some things. Those hands have done some stuff. That's why he plays guys 48 minutes because he's been through the trenches too. I do want to run one more thing by you here before we get you out of here.
All right.
I've been watching these playoffs, especially in the Western Conference, and I know, like I said this on the show last night, I think some of the Trae Young stuff, especially now that he is no longer with Clutch, has been blown a little out of proportion. I've heard that the Lakers aren't like as gung-ho that they need to go out and get a third star this summer as it has been perceived to this point, or portrayed to this point. And I'm happy
that was a very dramatic sigh. I need to hear what comes after that.
Well, honestly, it's more of a sigh because my back is killing me. Do not do your own dethatching, everybody. It is just a terrible, terrible process. But anyway, I watched these.
I wanted to say that's white people shit, but it's not.
I mean,
that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to call it white people shit, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
Like caring about your lawn is white people shit, but
yeah. Well, I'm
Mexican. Over. Do you show the other dads in the neighborhood? Do you like come see my lawn? Come see my backyard?
No.
That is white people shit.
No, I'm not there. Like I just like having a lawn that looks good. I'm Mexican, man. Like we take pride in that stuff. Like that's a big part of my ancestry is having a good lawn if you can have it. But so I'll never forget my Theo B. He's a mechanic and he's done pretty well for himself.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah, he
fixed everybody's shit in the whole neighborhood, don't he?
Nobody, like everybody around him has dirt in their lawn because in El Paso, Texas, it is impossible to grow grass. And I asked him, I was like, Theo, like, how did you do this? Like, how do you have grass and everybody else has dirt? And he's like, Neil, I'm telling you right now, that is the most important thing in my life.
I bet you he can put a carburetor in for $80.
You know which families here are doing pretty good if they have enough water, if they can pay their water bills. Right.
You pay the water bill off that, right? And especially in that heat,
dude, I'm telling you, like that.
I bet you he put a carburetor in for $80 too.
He's a wizard with cars. But anyway, so we were I've been watching these Western Conference finals and my takeaway here from them is that the last thing that the Lakers need here is another small guard. I know Donovan Mitchell plays bigger than his size. I know Trae Young would be able to do some stuff with the ball that the Lakers needed. or missed in the in these playoffs to before they got eliminated. But I think what you're learning in these, especially in the West, is if you have a weakness, these teams are so damn good at picking at that scab, on either side of the ball. That's why Vanderbilt can't play in the playoffs, because like these teams are so good at figuring out and finding ways to play those kinds of guys off of the floor. And the good thing here is that like Mitchell and Trey are elite enough offensively that like, and consistently elite enough offensively to be more steady than like D'Angelo Russell has been. But without getting into like specifics there, the archetype of player that the Lakers have been linked to, that point guard type big time acquisition who would require, again, I did the trade last night. And I think I still have it.
I started to send out another tweet, my I don't know, I'm not my famous, I was going to say my famous tweet. It's not that famous. But something I am known for on Twitter is saying that I want a blood test, a urine test, and a breathalyzer for trade machine stuff. People are sending me it is that season, SZN season.
Yeah.
So it has become, for Lakers fans, it has become trade machine season. So those of you that, follow me on Twitter, send it to me on Twitter. Those of you that have my phone number, text it to me. There needs to be a breathalyzer. Like people are doing the trade machine drunk and high. That is the only explanation for the nonsense that I receive in the trade machine.
Well, so I did this last night, and I'd had a glass of wine. I had a glass of wine next to me while I was on the air. You
were on the second glass.
I was on the air with my first glass.
Oh, okay.
I started
the first one. Okay.
Started a little later last night, so I was basically sober when I did this.
Okay.
Didn't include draft picks and stuff like that, because if you're trading for Trae Young, you know that they are going to be asking for all of them and all of that. So that is just kind of assumed. And so this was what I came up with on the fly. It would be Rui, Austin, Vando, and Jalen Hood-Schifino going to Atlanta for Trae Young. And that's just so much rotation minutes for a guy who I just don't know what he's going to give you in these types of matchups with these types of teams that pick and pick and pick at these scabs. So without even going into specifics, because
I'll say what I can say
about Trae, but like that archetype of player just isn't something that I'm interested in.
Okay, so I want to say two things. First, and this is what I've said, going back to before the Russ trade, and the lead up to the Russ trade, and then after the Russ trade. Either team building model can work, right? If it can be the 3 stars, and by stars we have to differentiate, because by 3 stars or superstars, whatever, what we mean is 3 people making max contracts, basically. And so that can work, or the 2-star and quality depth around can work. The thing with the 3-star model, though, is that you better get superstar production out of all 3 of them.
Yeah.
They better fit well, and they better be healthy. So I still think that is the best way to do it if you get those 3 things. It's not common that you get 3 superstars that fit incredibly well together, that produce at that high of a level and stay healthy. That's really difficult. Especially when LeBron is going to be 40 next season, especially when Anthony Davis, who was very, very durable this year, towards the end had a bunch of nicks and bumps and whatever, but was very, very durable and was great this year, but has a history of not being available as much as you might like. So if you're going to go that route, you better hope that they fit together, they produce as superstars, and that they fit well together. I do think, though, that your thing about the small guard, like another small guard, 2 things. One, Jalen Brunson's a really small guard, and that seems to be going okay. Mike Conley is a small guard.
He defends his ass off, though.
But fine. Oh,
But
Jalen
that's the problem
Brunson?
with,
Wait,
like,
no, Jalen Brunson defends his ass off? Jalen Brunson
yeah,
does not. No, Jalen
he at
Brunson
least competes.
tries.
He flops around out there.
He tries. Yeah, he tries.
Yeah. Trey
Jalen
doesn't.
Brunson is
Donovan doesn't.
Jalen Brunson is not a good defensive player, but he's stocky, right? Mike Conley is Mike Conley is the weakest link defensively in the, which is wild to say when they have Karl Anthony Towns, but Karl Anthony Towns has figured out that he's bigger than everybody else and can just stand in the way, even though he fouls in an incredible rate. But so I think that maybe you have some PTSD from Darvin about small guards. And what I would say is that I think it's important to think about units, think about 5-man groups, as opposed, like, it's okay to play a small guy, but that depends on what else you have going on. You mentioned Vando, and Vando basically got played off the floor in Denver at times last year in the playoffs.
Well, actually, all 3 of the series eventually.
He got at times. He got
each of
but
the
the reason I'm saying that, but
we saw his role diminish greatly.
But I think this is an important distinction, is that, and I said this at the time last year, the reason Vando and him not being able to shoot became such a problem and at times made him borderline playable or not was because of the group, right? And the problem last year in the playoffs was AD can't shoot, Vando can't shoot, and LeBron can't shoot last year. This year, if you had played Vando this year, AD still couldn't shoot it, or couldn't, whatever, doesn't matter. But LeBron had his best 3-point shooting season of his career, I think, at least, like, if we combine percentage and volume. So maybe some of the reason why Vando was not playable last year was because LeBron and AD couldn't shoot either. So I think Vando, had he been healthy, would have been more playable in these playoffs because of the 3-point shooter LeBron was this year. So when we say that, like, whoever, I can't mention the names, but the names that you mentioned, they're small guards, and they're going to have defensive foibles and they're going to be liabilities, etc. I think it becomes about structuring groups together to take advantage of what they do well and mask as best possible the things that they don't do well. And so I think we should start thinking about these things more as groups, as opposed to.
Is that Frank? Like, is he coming back?
That is not Frank Vogel. Let me check again. No, that is not Frank Vogel.
Is it JJ?
You want to keep guessing?
Is it JJ? Did he take the job? Is it Ballmer? Did they finally fire Lue? Can you either confirm or deny reports that the Lakers would have already hired Lue if the Clippers had just fired him already?
I think it is important to think about roster or lineup construction as 5-man groups, as opposed, and by the way, this is a coaching thing also, right? Because the thing that coaches are supposed to do is put those groups together, and put those groups together to hopefully put their best players on the floor as much as possible, but also in combinations that can accentuate each other's strengths and minimize each other's weaknesses. Darvin didn't do a great job of that, but I don't think that you should be so quick to dismiss smaller guards. I would be hesitant to play as many together as have been played recently, but just fair. Because, like, having a small guy on the floor is not a death sentence, right? Yeah. As long as the coach and the lineup that the coach also chooses is able to highlight what they do well. Because, like, I'm not talking about this as it relates to the Lakers, but Trae Young is an incredible offensive player, right? And does certain things at an elite level. Donovan Mitchell does things at an elite level. Yes, they're both my height, but, like, that doesn't mean that they can't be incredible players. Again, Mike Conley.
I'm not saying that
Mike Conley is my height. I don't Mike think Conley is my height and my age, and right. but
I don't
he's
think like Mike
competent
Conley
enough
isn't
defense.
as
Yeah, go
big
ahead.
of a role. Like it also doesn't make as much money as those guys. And
No,
like
but that's the point. It's about the group, right? It's about the groups that are out there.
right, but like when you give up everything that the Lakers would have to give up to bring him in, and you pay that player as much money as Mitchell and Trae Young make, um, and you're basically hoping that with minimum salary players and second round draft picks, that you are somehow going to be able to fortify those weaknesses and optimize those strengths. I just don't know that you can. Like I don't know. Like the 3-star model or the 3 max model is fine when at least 2 of those guys, I would say, are guys that you drafted and developed and haven't eaten as much of your cap as teams that go out and try with 3 different players to bring in 3 supermax players. Like that's really difficult to do from a cap perspective, especially in this new CBA where you spend just enough and now you can't sign bought out players mid-season. You can't trade 2-for-1s, and you can't there's just
Second
all of
apron
these
stuff.
things that you can't do. Like once you go above the second apron, which these 3 guys would put you at the doorstep of that second
Not
apron.
necessarily, because you're gonna have to send out a bunch of money
Well, but
to go get
all right,
them too.
so LeBron's going to make about 60 with this new contract that he's going to sign. AD is going to make 50. Trae Young makes 43. That's a lot of effing money, and there's just not very much wiggle room between there and that second apron, which the Lakers as
A glass of Hennessy says Lakers on it. I don't know if you guys can see that.
But like the Lakers and other teams are treating that second apron as, is that Lakers? That say Lakers?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It says Lakers on it. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, that is Lakers unnamed cognac.
By the way, send me your address. I have the quarter zip for you. I have the
I
have the white guy. I have the white guy dad quarter zip for you on the way.
We're like out of quarter zip season. I'll stretch out the quarter zip season. All right, we got to get you out of here, but we do have two super comments, which means. All right, Brandon Noeming writes, should have given Dante the MLE instead of Gabe. He was going to New York no matter what. Like that, he wanted to go play with the Villanova trio. That was done. That was like we talk about, like, the way that these things are just so happen to fall into place and all of that stuff. Once Brunson went to New York, and certainly after Josh Hart got there, it was done. Those 3 guys wanted to play together, and Dante was going to New York.
Sure did.
There was nothing that the Lakers could have done there. Justin Tyndall writes, why would Young or Mitchell want to go west? Do you think Raj's guy, JHS, is going to be in the rotation next year? And then thoughts on AD wanting continuity. I didn't see the AD quotes, asking for continuity.
Raj is catching strays on JHS.
Look, I think JHS is going to be in the rotation next year in Atlanta or in Cleveland or something like that. But
do you think Raj,
in their G League system?
Do you think Raj has? I'm trying to think of whatever the most what is the most watched movie of all time? Avatar, maybe the original. Yeah. Star Wars. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, the newest Avatar has made the most money of any movie ever.
Okay, so do you think Raj has seen more video of Avatar 2 or JHS?
Oh, it's not close. Did you see the new Avatar? I actually liked it.
No, I don't watch that shit. That's why people shit. I don't watch that.
I know you didn't watch it, therefore it's why people shit. We figured this out. We know. We
I think I did see. I think I did see the first one, but I did not enjoy it. It was like supposed to be some like audio visual marvel, right? The first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It like was. Everybody likes to crap on Avatar. Everybody likes to like dump on Avatar and say it's this and that and this and whatever. Fern Gully's story, but with CGI. Fine. Wait, whatever.
What?
But the CGI is incredible.
What is Fern Gully?
Fern Gully?
Yeah,
what is the old animated movie?
I don't know that one.
That's,
I come across every time I come on the show. I think I'm pretty like I'm old, but I think I'm pretty hip. I'm with it.
well,
And every
that's an
time I come to the show,
old
you're like,
movie.
"Have you seen this?" I'll be like, "No, what is that?"
No, Ferngully is really, really old. Ferngully is
No, I
from
don't
when
know that
I
about
was a kid.
I can explain the
so
Drake and Kendrick beef to you if you want. That I got.
Kendrick beat the crap out of Drake. Like that's
I don't.
the explanation. You're a big Drake guy though, so
I
you're
am.
not gonna.
I am.
You've told me that Drake is the best rapper of all time, and I'm sorry, man. He got dog washed.
I don't
Here's
think he's
how
the
I know
best
he's
lyric. I
getting
don't
his
think
ass
he's the
kicked.
best lyricist of all time. But the hits speak for themselves. The catalog speaks for itself.
You
Do I
mean the
think he's
hits
the
that
best?
he's taken, like the body blows and the knockout shots that he's taken recently?
The bangers. Yeah, the bangers to the side of his head.
Here's how I know. Here's how I know this is an ass kicking.
Okay.
And it's hilarious that Raj is a Drake guy too, because
Raj
he
is
has
a
made
Drake
the
guy.
case for the,
So
like,
by the way,
both of these
so is
things.
Shub.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in
Shub says
Shub's
OVO
Twitter
Lake
handle.
Show.
You're right. Yeah, right, yeah.
No, but here's how I know this has been an ass kicking, because Drake's like fans will say, "Oh, it's at least close. Come on, guys, it's close. It's it's not like none of them say like, well, like our guy's winning."
Maybe that like the second round was maybe 10-10.
That last song was pretty good. You just don't like Drake. Like, no.
Yeah,
the number of
so I don't
viral
know.
videos I've seen of people like these clubs playing Not Like Us.
Yeah, by the way, it's also like number one in every country, including Canada.
I saw like USC made a Not Like Us video, like directed at UCLA, and then UCLA made one back at USC because they won the most recent USC UCLA football game. Like, it is becoming a part of mainstream culture in ways that, like, Drake's one thing was that, like, well, none of your songs are as popular as mine or whatever. It's like, this song is, and you're getting your ass kicked in it. Oh man. Well, Aaron,
Yes.
I greatly appreciate you being a really good sport about all of this stuff. As I say all the time here, it is really unique that you guys can hop on here and hear information from somebody who knows shit in the way that you do, as regularly as you do on this channel, and every time Aaron steps in front of a mic. I greatly appreciate it, Aaron. On your way out, a prediction by you and I are going to talk in a week or so. Do you think the Lakers have a head coach by the next time you and I do a show together?
You just committed me to do a show next week. No, I do not think the Lakers have a head coach by next week. No. Well, wait, hold on. Hold on. I just got a text, so it's possible.
Is it from Frank? Is he back?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it from?
I have not. How about this? I will tell you, I have talked to people on Frank's staff today, but I have not talked to Frank today. I like Frank a lot, though. I think Frank's a really good dude, and I think he's a good. I think Frank's a really good human, and I think that he is a really good basketball coach.
Do you think, like, the next time you talk to Bud, can you run it by him and say, "Hey,
I have never spoken to Bud. I've never spoken to Bud, actually."
Well, next time, seeing as you're going to be part of the interview process, could you ask him, like, are you okay with Bude? Like, my co-host, like, implanted this in my brain, and I can't not think of it. Like,
well, so here's the problem, though, is that we're not allowed to, or at least we shouldn't be allowed to give ourselves nicknames. So I don't know if Bud is allowed to have any input on whether he would prefer Bude or not, because he's not allowed. He's not allowed to speak on his own nickname, right?
Do you think if Bud was like got to the finish line and said, "All right, my last thing,
the
my
finish
last
line of what? Of his
like
life?
if he somehow gets to the finish line, being like getting the offer from the Lakers somehow.
Oh, the finish line could be the Lakers coach theoretically. Okay.
And then he says, "All right, my last request is that we bring Darvin back, and he's my second or lead assistant." Do they just hang? Do they hang up and they say, "Good, best of luck in Phoenix, Bud, Bude"?
Anthony, I would like to. That was a very nice thing that you just said about me. And I would like to thank you for saying those kind things about me on the last time I ever appear on anything you have anything to do with. So I would like to sign off however you would like, but I suddenly can't remember what it was that the last thing that you just suggested, whatever your last question was. I don't remember. I can't it's maybe my brain has been pickled by unnamed cognac, but I can't I have no concept of whatever it was that was your last soliloquy, your last question. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about whatever you just asked.
I appreciate you filibustering there while my mic.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so technical difficulties.
I stand by everything that I said that is nice about Aaron. He is legitimately a very, very unique presence in coverage, not just Lakers coverage, but coverage of any team. And I look forward to continuing to build this thing alongside him, even if when we hop off here, he's going to say that is the last fucking time I do use.
Stop sending me them goddamn trades and trade machine, or at least quit drinking before you do so.
The plan here right now is as we head into the off season, I'm probably not going to do a happy hour episode tomorrow unless I have reason to do it. We did kind of a back and forth last night.
Well, how about this? This is what I will commit to. If the Cavs are beating the Celtics tonight, I don't know where I will be, but I will come and do it. You remember how you used to do the pressure cooker? If there's a pressure cooker with the Cavs beating the Celtics tonight, I will hop on with you and we'll do another one.
That'd be fun.
We'll do the last 5 minutes of the Cavs. I'm not saying that I'll be home necessarily, but I will hop on. I will hop on the phone, and wherever life happens to have me in the moment, I will hop on for the last 5 minutes of you with Cavs Celtics. If the Cavs are winning,
yeah. All right.
And we can all root against the Celtics together.
So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from us, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Aaron Larsoul. Please rate, review, like, subscribe, all of those things to the show. YouTube.com/@LakersLounge is where you can find us. Until the next time you guys hear from us, I'm like I just said a second ago, I'm Anthony Irwin, Aaron Larsoul. Have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you whenever I talk to you.
Go do something nice for someone else.